Yesterday, Venezuela, today, Iran, tomorrow, the world.
Hello, this is Carrie O'Donnell, Tarot Soul Writer, and I am here with Irish Granny Helen.
Hi, Helen. Thank you for having me, Carrie. It's always fun. I love getting together with
I know, it's always fun. So we're going to discuss some political and current event stuff, but before that, is there anything that's going on in your world that you want to tell everybody? Any shows coming up or?
Well, I more like things I've already done. I'm going to be talking with Marina tomorrow evening. I think she does it live. I don't know. It's on her channel. But I recently had a long talk with John Fugelsang, who's a big deal, and he was really a nice person, fun to talk about. We did a lot of discussions about what he calls fake Christians. and then funny enough, it was the theme last week. Inadvertently, I had a wonderful conversation with Andra Watkins, who no longer lives in the United States. She has a Substack, is how I found her. She did a Substack a couple of years ago called How Project 2025 Will F Your Life, and her friends made her change it to Ruin Your Life. But for a while, it was the first iteration. And she parsed the whole thing. She was raised in an extreme white Christian nationalist religion, and took the benefits of knowing about their buzzwords and what they mean when they say something. There's coded language, and it's coded heavily in Project 2025. And so she did what I tried to do, but she had kind of a stronger background to really get down into the real biblical stuff. She said, this is what they said. This is what it means on the surface. And then this is the religious motivation. So we talked a lot about that.
Wow. So is that interview on your channel already?
Yeah, it's all on my channel. Yeah.
All right. So I have Helen's information down below. Check out her channel. Check out these interviews.
Thank you.
Really interesting. It's so funny because as you're explaining that, I was thinking about the SAVE Act. Now, you can tell me, has the SAVE Act passed as of the taping of this video? I want to say not yet.
I don't think so. But I don't know why it hasn't, because it should have,
Well, see, that's the thing I had done. It made me think about that when you were talking about Project 2025, because I had a lot of people say, Carrie, they don't have the votes in the Senate and so forth. But every time I read on it, it was going to pass. It might not pass in its original form, but some version of it was going to pass. And so I guess it hasn't happened yet because Trump is now demanding it. He's
holding
doing the partial. Yeah. Well, they're doing the partial shutdown. He's not going to sign any more legislation. Yeah. So that's kind of watch this space, because I feel like it's not over yet. I don't think it's dead in the water yet. I know some people think it is because the Senate supposedly doesn't have the votes, but I feel like there's going to be some people turned. So that's just my gut. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's holding it over their heads that he will not sign any legislation that they put in front of him. And they're already hobbled, by numbers. They've accomplished absolutely nothing. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's a threat. The executive branch doesn't threaten the legislative branch. As my husband loves to say, it's not constitutional.
It's not constitutional to anybody. None of this is. All right. So I know we had a lot of stuff on our agenda, but can we pull some cards on that? I don't know, because now I want to know what the cards are saying on the SAVE, if it's still going to pass or if there's going to be some blocks. What's coming up with it? Because it's huge. It's a huge way to steal the midterm.
Yeah, and I feel this degree of sorrow when you talk about it, because I remember watching the dogs and the fire hoses and the governor standing on the steps and saying no blacks. I mean, I remember when voting rights and civil rights and those things were considered valuable enough to fight for, and people defended them and went out of, really put their literally their lives on the line to make it happen. And it's within the period of time of a lifetime, because I remember it clearly, you know, and I think this is really painful to see this being denied for a lot of other reasons, but for that too, the work that went into it, you know.
My emotions are very personal and angry, because being a sort of privileged white woman, I mean, let's get real. I mean, I've kind of lived, I don't have as much privilege as, say, a white man, but I still have had some privilege. And now they're coming for me, because I have to have all of this documentation with the SAVE Act in order to be able to vote, because my name, I'm a married woman, so my name does not match my birth certificate. So it's yeah, so I have to have alternate forms of ID and the birth certificate and all the things, my marriage certificate. I have to do all of this just to vote with the SAVE Act.
Welcome to the real world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you kidding me? And I won't be denied. I'm gathering stuff now. But again, I'm also a woman that has a little bit of privilege just by my social class.
It's not the end of the world to have to pay for a passport.
I could do that. That's right. I already have a passport. Do you know what I mean? But there are a lot of people who are not in that position, and they won't be able to vote because they're not.
Can't you use your passport?
Yep, I can use, but that's what I mean. I already have one.
Yeah.
So that's why I have more privilege to gather things up and say, okay, whereas there might be women who are not in that position to get a passports are expensive. It's like a huge poll tax.
We didn't have passports until my children were grown and out of the house, and there was any kind of tiny bit of money that we could put aside to do, because they're expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. No.
All right, let's take a look.
Okay, voting. Oh, God. I don't like this.
All right. I'm going to just get some clarifiers, but while I'm doing that, you want to go with yours?
Yeah, then maybe I'll look at the Lenormands. Okay, so I always get the King of Pentacles for you-know-who.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Big. And I get the Knight of Pentacles for the people around him, you know, his sycophants. And I get, was it 5? Yeah, 5 of Wands, discord, you know, partisan quarreling. And ultimately, I get the 3 of Swords. I don't think this is good. I don't like.
That's what I was feeling before last month's predictions. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know, guys. Like, I feel like maybe not exactly how it was written, but I don't know if the Senate can rewrite things. I'm assuming they can. I don't know. All right.
Well, I got the opposite in Lenormand's.
Yeah. I'm getting the Chariot, so they're trying to push this through, I think, with speed, you know, like move this through. I think that's coming from Trump himself. Like, you got to get this through. We've already seen that. Yeah. I do have the Sun card reversed. So to me, that's in the shadows. Something's going on in the shadows, because this would be like full disclosure, right? The sun's out. We can see everything. This in reversal for me is more shadowy, more there's some things under the surface, or things they're trying to hide, secret deals behind door kind of thing that are going on. Here's the women. Now, I actually pulled this upright, the 3 of Cups, but I feel like this is the fact that women have already begun protesting this, right? Not necessarily, I mean, they have hit the streets in other protests, but they're already organized. There's already phone calls coming in. There's already there's women are coming across with strength. They're in unity. And I did get this before, that the Senate was worried about that. Like, they're trying to tell the president, if you do this, they're coming for you. They're organized. It's not like you can just brush off this group.
And that card, particularly the artwork, it very much looks like you're being watched.
Yeah, right.
Like
when they're all like looking, and they're like, no, we're coming for you. And there are some senators really worried. They're worried about their power, their seats. They're like, could be a line politically that could end my career if I do this. So it's like rock in a hard place kind of feel. And then I got the Three of Wands reversed as a conclusion. And to me, this is ulterior motives. This is not trusting somebody. This is kind of, I'm looking, I mean, you would kind of take this as this is my domain, but I feel like this is sneakiness. Like, I almost feel like something could be passed in the dead of night kind of thing. Like, I feel like we have to do this.
Oh, God, you said that. You know what immediately came to me?
What?
The Supreme Court shadow docket.
Oh, the shadow docket.
Oh, and then God, I just got full body chills.
And I got the shadows.
Yeah. Yes. They're going to take it to the Supreme Court if they don't get their way.
And get this one, I asked for clarifiers, and they were like, if they send this rocket into space, in a sense, if this goes off, this is going to spread, mosquito, airborne, it's going to suppress, what's going to spread? It's going to be...
It's going to energize people.
Motivate. This is going to energize a lot of people.
Well, I hope well, I don't want to say it. I'm such Pollyanna. What does it take to energize people?
But maybe this could be part of it. Like I said, I kind of feel, again, like nobody has ever really come for me, but they're coming for me. So when you feel it for the first time, I think it energizes you a little bit. Like I'm more aware than a lot of people, but maybe people who really thought they were in the clear, like no one's coming for me. Maybe this is the thing, that for some population, some female population are going to be like, okay, I got to hit the streets now. I wasn't hitting the streets before, but now I am. So,
even with informed people who have integrity, there is still a sense of denial that it's really difficult to overcome, where they feel like it's happening to other people, but they're not. One of my daughters said to me, Mom, no one's going to bother an old white lady. And I thought, whoa, someday I hope I don't have to remind you of that statement,
I know.
Because that is not true. That's not true at all. I'm listening to Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Do you remember him? He was a political dissident in Russia. Starting in World War II, he did some stupid thing. It was a nothing thing that he did, and fell afoul of the law and got caught up in the Gulag. He wrote the Gulag Archipelago. It's all about the nationwide string of political prisons that they had. Mm-hmm. And he goes back into their history and talks about how before the revolution, and then after he names names, he talks about dates, he talks about kangaroo courts and this judge and that prosecutor, and he really gets down. What he did is he provided an historical record in this book, and it is this is the second time in 6 months I've tried to go back to this book. I read it in high school because I was a fun teenager, and I decided not to read it again because it's like 7,000 pages. It's ridiculous. It's so big. I decided to listen to it. I got about 25% in and had to return it. It was bumming me out. But I'm back at it again. I'm trying. I'm working my way through. And I got news for you. This is just the beginning if we don't do something now.
That's right. That's right. So hopefully this is something to kind of move the population a little, like one of many things. But kind of changing things around, I'm going to go to Susie Wiles, because when you had mentioned her, I was like, oh, heck yeah, we got to look at Susan Wiles. I'll call her Susie. Susie, dear, was diagnosed with breast cancer.
And I hope she's okay.
And I do hope she's okay. And
don't wish bad on anybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, it did say in the article that I read that no worries, I'm still working. It's not going to interrupt my workflow right now, even though they announced the diagnosis. Helen, why don't you bring up what are your theories or your
Okay,
questions?
so I'm just bopping along today, and somebody told me, "Oh, did you hear?" And I get these ideas, notions. I don't know what to call it. The minute I heard that had happened, I thought, "Oh, whether or not it's true, it's a great way to bow out gracefully, save face, and withdraw without being fired or castigated by Trump or getting into a power battle with anybody." I think she's out. Now, she may be sick, and I wish her well. These are two separate issues. I think she's like, oh, okay, this would be a good time to.
Right. Because she didn't have to make it public.
No,
they don't make
no.
anything public. You know, she didn't. She could have just gone her merry way, and we would never have known.
Yeah.
So the fact that they announced it, I feel it was deliberate for some reason.
That's right.
Because, I mean, they don't talk about Trump's health, and there are a lot of people who are struggling with things. They don't make those announcements.
Well, he announced it.
Yeah.
Trump announced it.
That's even weirder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's look at what's underneath this. Like, what's Susie Wiles' plans for the future? Why are they making this public now? What is underneath this diagnosis? And see what comes up.
I feel like a veteran cop saying this, but it feels hinky.
Hinky. I'm just getting some clarifiers. I actually do get that she's sick.
Pardon me?
I do get that she does have something going on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more to the motivation. All right, I guess I'll go first this time. I'm hoping you'll bring some insight into what I'm getting. And I'm starting with the world reversed. And there's something that's not complete here is more what I'm getting here. Something that hasn't come to conclusion. And I get Susie. This is Susie's feelings is what I'm feeling here.
What is it? Because I can't see that
part. The Four of Cups.
Okay.
And you can see that sort of cup being offered to her. And what I'm feeling is just this apathy, just like, you know, the world is upside down. Something's not complete. This could be the war situation. I think we're looking at the world being like you've blown up the world, basically. You're not thinking logically. There's some offer for her, and she's like, no, I just don't want to be part of that. I want to say shit show. Like I do get that she has some strong opinions. And here she is. This is the Seven of Wands. Just a sense that she's been trying to stay on top. She's been trying to vie for power. She's trying to get her voice heard. But then you've got the Temperance reverse, which is my illness card. So I do feel like, you know, something is out of balance there. Now, I'm not saying that she's feeling horrible, but I think with whatever treatments that she might have to go through, it's almost like she's saying, I don't have the energy to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
Like, just, you know, I don't need to fight another fight. Like, why are you offering me? Like, I just get her feeling like I'm done with you boys. Like, I just want to like take a time out. And so she makes the announcement with the poet, or like, meaning she might have told them, I got the rainbow in the egg, a fragile beginning. And, you know, the rainbow is very symbolic as to good times at the end of
promises.
Promises of a fragile beginning. So it's almost like she's feeling, if I announce this, kind of take a step back, like I'm working, but I don't have to be in the forefront of this crap, kind of take a little step back, take care of this, get my energy back. Because I want a better thing on the other side, even because there's going to be this fragile new beginning, and I want to have power in that fragile new beginning. I'm not trying to paint her as a good guy. I'm just saying I don't think she shares the exact values of what's going on in this administration. So it's almost like, this is my chance to step back. I have an excuse because I have to be ready for another day, another fight. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like my gut instinct was right. It's not about is she sick or not. It's about, is this a graceful exit?
Mm-hmm.
So I got the 9 of Pentacles reversed. I feel like things are not going well in her position. She's not feeling it anymore. She was for a long time. She's not anymore. And it's because she's not in agreement with what's going on. The 2 of Cups. Whatever it is, there's so much going on that, so they come up with this war, right? This is the Page of Swords. But to me, swords are also can be about surgery, right? I think she's been feeling trapped, and now she's got a decision to make. But then I get the King of Swords, so I think she is going to have surgery. But this is her taking control of her situation.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, it's legitimate. Yes, she's sick, and I hope she'll be okay. I think she will have some sort of procedure, but it has allowed her to take a step back because she has not been happy for a while.
That's right. That's kind of what I'm getting with that 4 of Cups. Like, I didn't want to engage in this to begin with. They didn't, but at the same time, that 7 of Wands tells me power is important to her. Being in a position of power. It's almost like she's smart enough to know when to step out or step back so that she can fight another day. I feel like she's fully wants to do that. Like, she doesn't seem done to me. She just.
Well, no, the Queen of Wands. I mean, she's in control. She knows what she's doing. Yeah. But it's like, if you had to get sick, this is the perfect time for it, because now she can focus on her health, let them screw up whatever it is they're screwing up, and then
she comes back
to
take her rightful place, kind of thing. Like, she's a tough. She reminds me of like a Liz Cheney type energy. Like, I get that kind of like, like I can come across as sane and logical because she's very bright. She's very smart, but they don't necessarily, neither one of them have like the best agenda either. Just maybe not as crazy as what's going on right now.
I've actually never heard her say a peep. I'm sure she has. I've just never run into it.
She keeps very on the down low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard about that big, was it Vanity Fair interview?
Oh, yeah. Which she leaked out a few crumbs there.
See, I think that was stuff becoming upside down. That was that 9 of Pentacles getting reversed. Things are just not all as cozy and comfortable as they have been. So maybe this would be a good time to take a step back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to Lindsey Graham. So Lindsey, apparently, Helen was filling me in that he has been very vocal about doing horrible things to the Iranian people. We'll just keep it at that, with that language.
But well, let me put it this way. Every time he talks about mass killing of people, he starts to salivate. He's gleeful about it, and he gets all worked up. It's really awful. Yeah.
So how should we phrase our question about Lindsey in the scope of how he's reacting here to this war situation?
Is he really and truly as crazy as he seems to be, or is he just playing along? Is he a sycophant through and through? Or is he a believer because he's nuts? So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay. I'm using my Vincent van Gogh cards because he wasn't quite stable either. Yeah, look how pretty the backs of these are. The fronts aren't really Van Gogh paintings, but
nice.
It's so pretty. Yeah. So what's up?
I just got to get a couple of clarifiers on this before we go.
Shall I go?
Yeah, go ahead if you want.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it. So we're talking about Lindsey Graham, the Queen of Pentacles. He is going to take advantage of the situation to his own betterment. It's a pragmatic thing. So he's just attached himself to Trump's coattails, or in that general area.
Mm-hmm.
And Seven of Pentacles, he's going to do anything it takes to stay in good graces.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks, I get the sun, he thinks that this is putting a spotlight on him. It's going to bring him under the favor, under the spotlight, the favor of the leader. This is pragmatism, pure pragmatism. Crazy like a fox is what I'm getting. But then I get the Fool. And I think this is a little message for Lindsey and for all of us. Nobody befriends the guy in charge. He has no sense of loyalty or what's the word I want? Like attachment to anybody. He is completely self-serving. So
Right.
the self-serving people who attach themselves to him are going to be disappointed in the long run. What does Rick Wilson say?
What does Rick?
What is the name of his book? Everything Trump touches dies.
Dies, yeah. Truth.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely got similar. I have the death card reversed, and I will tell you that the death card reversed for me, because I've kind of programmed my cards in certain ways, it can actually be physical death, but in this case, it also can be, I get images of vampires and codependent people who suck the life out of people. And that's the image that came to mind with this death card, that he's like a vampire. He has to attach, like when you said attached, I got goosebumps, because that's the image I was getting. Like, I need to suck the blood of, metaphorically, of someone else in order to have life, to have power. Like, he has definitely reduced himself to that, almost like a subhuman kind of situation. Here he is. I got Lindsey as the Empress. But the funny thing about the Empress is she's also a wife, which also to me conjured up not like the independent woman of the Queen of Wands like we got for Susie Wiles, but the woman who would attach herself to a man, with the Empress for, a pretty necklace and, a nice.
I think it's really funny that we both got female figures,
Yeah.
I think, and just to be really clear, neither one of us cares about that kind of stuff, but it's telling,
It is really telling. And then here's like the war rhetoric. So you got that, is it the 9? Yeah. The 9 of Wands, the soldier getting ready for battle with the wands all around his fort. And then I have the 5 of Wands reverse, which to me is conflict, extreme conflict. So I'm creating conflict. I'm fighting the battle. I'm a soldier going to war as I'm told, creating the conflicts. And then I said, okay, so he's that, like, that's what he's doing. But I asked for some clarifiers more to like why. I got something very, very interesting. I got trade war, crypto uncertainty.
Oh my God.
I thought was interesting. And conceding defeat. So there's something going on here related to money.
Yeah. There's money to be made. Yeah.
Because remember the tariffs and stuff?
Yeah.
There were a lot, again, for entertainment purposes only, what do I know? But there were a lot of rumors that maybe things were being moved to crypto. Conceding defeat. Is that Lindsey feeling defeated, or is that like he's looking ahead feeling like, oh, we got to get things going. I have to put up the war rhetoric because we can't lose this war because we got money on the line, right?
Oh, that's exactly right. I think there's a lot of people that are making bank on this whole thing, which I think is really kind of the ultimate purpose in the long run, on all sides, except for the leaders of Iran are absolutely religious zealots, and every bit as much as we've got religious zealots in the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson. I mean, there are any number of those on our political agenda too. But I guess what I'm saying is maybe not everybody on either side is motivated by money, but enough are.
That's right. That's right. All right. So Lindsey's pretty much what we thought he'd be.
Yeah, that was no surprise at all, was it?
No. How about Cuba? Cuba has been on my radar.
Yeah.
And I just saw that their grid collapsed. Did you read that?
Oh my God. What did you think when you saw that?
Well, I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I kind of felt like it was inevitable that's all right. Here's, you know what, where my mind really went, because I wasn't really about Cuba. I felt like we were next with the grid.
Okay, so I was thinking in terms of Cuba, and I thought, okay, CIA.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I know that they were like forcing this issue, you know, with the oil embargo and so forth. But that's so funny because like I felt like, because I've been getting a lot of info since December that we were going to have some real problems with our grid. Mm-hmm. Now it could be because of the oil prices and so forth. That now that we know what's going on, maybe that's why I was getting that information. But I feel like cyber attacks, other kinds of attacks are not out of the question either. Because it is a great way to control people.
Oh yeah, people will fall apart if they can't, you know, go on TikTok. The tech gods do not look down on me with favor, and I don't get a lot of spontaneous ideas. I don't know what to call them, but you know, when I just know something, you know, about tech or AI, because I have such strong gut feelings against them. It colors my attitude. But every time I read cards on it, not good. And it's inevitable that we are going to face some sort of crisis in that. I don't think it's not if, it's when.
It's when. I got it more isolated, not like the whole country going on at once, but I do feel like, you know, those are the war games that might be played here as opposed to traditional, you know, because we are kind of isolated from some of our enemies, but that's a great way anyone can take us down without having to spend a lot of money on weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Where my mind goes is not to foreign interference. Where my mind goes is you lose the grid in a large urban area and you send in ICE.
There you go. Yeah.
People can't warn each other. There's no
That's
communication. Right. It's a blackout.
That's right.
Do whatever they feel like. That's the kind of thing I would expect. But it's inevitable to the foreign, of course, you know, of course.
Yeah. So let's ask about Cuba. What is the future of Cuba? Is this a precursor for us going in? Are we going to go in sooner than later? I know we're fighting this. Do we even have enough going on where we can go into Cuba right now? I kind of feel like it's on my radar for a reason, but I would like to see what the cards are saying, like what's coming up.
I've been talking about Cuba for weeks and weeks. I've been saying it's coming.
Yeah.
Pay attention. And I think we're just country hopping. You know, who can we torture next? Who can we, you know, devastate next?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. I have to ask, because I thought the leader of Cuba, isn't the leader of Cuba a man? Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Yeah, isn't it Castro's brother, Raul?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Part of the family.
I think.
For some reason, I'm getting a woman here. What the heck? Is there any woman involved with this conflict? I don't know who.
I don't know. You know, maybe I'm just grasping here, but do we have like a woman waiting in the wings that we want to put in position?
That's true. We did that with Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's talking about making what's his name? Secretary of State Rubio, making Marco Rubio the viceroy of Cuba, for God's sake. What is this, the 1600s? Oh my God.
I know. It's crazy. All right, you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Why not? You know, yesterday, Venezuela, today, Iran, tomorrow, the world. I just think that's what that is. And I got the 8 of Wands, which is just like I said, one after another. I have to hide this. I don't have enough fingers. I got the Lovers reversed, which is we have destroyed our relationships in the world, our allies. It's just, they're
Yeah.
just, then I got a card that I often get for the United States, the Star. So this is definitely about our interference in that country, which is about the Ace of Coins. It's about money and power. They're making decisions having to do with money and power, and they're making decisions about aggression and going forward. So I feel like it's just a matter of time. It's kind of a given, but it's a matter of time. Yeah.
I'm getting something similar. This is what's underneath the situation: joining forces and temperance. So I think this is kind of like the attitude that the United States kind of went into Cuba with, like, you join forces with us. You know what they're showing me right now? You have to understand, I'm Gen X and I'm a Star Wars geek. And I'm seeing the scene from Star Wars when Darth Vader puts out his hand to his son and says, join me, father and son together. We can rule the universe, right? You know, and then of course his son goes, no, you know, I'll never join you. Well, I'm seeing that scene. The joining forces, I think it was kind of like, join us or else. You join us, there'll be peace, there'll be balance. You know, you'll be able to eat, you'll be able to turn on your lights. But if you don't, you know, I'm getting that sort of like, it will be bad for you if you don't.
Maybe that's what these two choice cards are about.
Maybe that's it. You choose this or you choose annihilation kind of thing. And then we take you anyway. So then I'm getting the moon and a health matter. This is Trump. All right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling this is Trump's health. I feel like the moon is like, you know, obviously upright. That's not as crazy for me as the moon reversed, but there is that sense of shadows and intuition. And I feel like the intuition is more Trump's rumination on his own mortality. I think he's been diagnosed with some health issues. And for him, this is like, you know what I'm seeing? You know, the lapels with the generals and they have like the different stars or the different medals or whatever. I see someone putting like another one on his lapel. Like to him, it's like a checkoff list. Like, this is my bucket list. I'm going to, you know, do Iran and I'm going to, you know, take Venezuela and Cuba's next and then Greenland. Check, 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 you know, before the end, you know, that kind of thing. Like, but I got
that moon to me, I know those are your cards, but it speaks to me. That moon, you know, lunacy, lunatic. This is coming from a place of mental illness. It's
mental illness.
Yeah.
And that could be part of the health matter as well.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, he's off his rocker. Maybe I'm seeing this woman as maybe differently now when I pulled the clarifier, but I did pull the Queen of Cups reversed. And she's very emotional. There's a lot of emotion here. And it could just represent the emotion of the Cuban people.
I was going to say, maybe it's Cuba.
Maybe it's Cuba herself, like almost as a feminine entity.
Yes. Yes.
And so many people. So I feel like so many people are feeling this. And there's just so much emotion attached to it. And I had a confusing card. This is the outcome, like where Cuba's going. I got the 10 of Cups, which is sort of a happy and positive card. But my clarifier says foreign occupation. So I feel like together, they're going to maintain their balance again. They're going to get their grid fixed or whatever. They're going to get some food, but it's because the United States goes in, foreign occupation.
Look at that 10 of Cups. Look at what's really prominent there, that rainbow. What's at the end of the rainbow?
The end of the rainbow is...
No, that's a rhetorical question.
Oh, I was going to say...
Always the pot of gold.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of happy corporations, a lot of happy government contractors.
Well, there's also like these two arms.
Yeah, the rich
the
people
rainbow
in the
goes
United
into
States
the
and
cup.
the rich people in Cuba.
Yeah. And it's like, here we are, we're joined together. The gold goes from one side that we don't see into the cup. Whose cup? Our treasury.
Oh, or maybe a private offshore.
Or a private. Yeah. Well, to me, it's kind of like he just takes what he wants anyway. So Yeah, interesting. So I didn't ask for a time, but it feels imminent to me because
Yeah.
I feel like with the grid gone down, but then also, I don't know, it's just been on my radar. It wasn't on my radar at the end of February when I did March's reading. Like I just felt like I knew what was going on. I knew it was bad, but it wasn't coming up as like a prominent thing in March. So this might be more until like the end of March, early April, you
I
know?
haven't really researched it, but every time Nate and I do current events, we do international current events. At some
Mhm.
point, I don't think I'm making this up. At some point in each of those videos we've made, I've been motivated to say, I worry about Cuba. Cuba better watch out. Cuba, I
Yeah.
just had that feeling. I think the grid going down to me today was a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a domino effect from here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're going to have to watch that. And I've always said, and this is just on another note, we don't have to read on it today, but I always keep getting that Greenland is still in play, that it's not over with Greenland.
It's the
So,
crown jewel.
yeah, it's like don't think like, oh, NATO's stopping him. I feel like I think a lot of it now depends because I did get something like more imminent this month with Greenland, like more poking the bear and like trying to like kind of doing what we're doing with Cuba. But I feel like the Iranian thing kind of took over. But I still feel like it's there. Like it's
It's
part of
still
the
there.
plan.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're just putting it in a different order right now. So hopefully, some other events can stop that, but it's still in play for sure.
Well,
Energetically.
Andy Ogles is this appalling representative from Tennessee who lives with Mike Johnson and their mutual pastor in Washington, D.C. They have like a little frat house for representatives run on Christian vibes. And this pastor meets regularly with members of Congress to tell them how to vote. Right. And I saw Andy Ogles absolutely vilifying a representative of the Greenland government. It was the most humiliating thing I've ever seen. Humiliating for us, the way he was speaking to her. And his whole shtick was, well, what did the Danes ever do in Greenland? Look at all the resources that are just sitting there. We're happy to come in and make good use of them. Denmark has done nothing for you. I think they are just salivating to own the socialists in Denmark.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of what's going on, plus the greed.
And the greed. They want all those resources. And they want to expand into the Arctic because, they know global warming is here. They know it's not a hoax. And with those glacier ice melts, it's all new land up for grabs. And God knows what's under there. I want it all, the methane gas, the oil, all of it, minerals, and God knows what. They'll just keep drilling and digging.
There's a reason why Putin and Trump met in Alaska. And I think all that noise he made about Canada, I think Canada got strong and pushed back, and he went, oh, okay, maybe I'll change my mind. Instead of going directly up to the source of water, we'll go around this way. But and it's not just water. There are other resources, minerals, and stuff like that, and of course oil. But water's going to be the new
water.
oil.
Is going to be huge.
Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
And guess who's got lots of water? Canada. Yeah. And Greenland.
Yeah.
And so what two countries did he want to go after? Who has gone after oil? Venezuela and Iran. Cuba, I don't know. I don't know if that's just a flex, because communists. But the water thing is the other big resource that they're going after.
That's right. And when the glaciers really go, that's just more glacier lakes that will be formed and such of fresh water.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. All right. So let's turn to what's going on in the Middle East. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I did want to know, I don't know if you've read on this. I haven't read on this, but all the buzz is Is Bibi here on Earth? Or did Bibi get injured? Or did Bibi go to the other side? Or is Bibi underground? Where's Bibi? It's kind of like, where's Waldo? Where's Bibi?
No, I haven't paid any attention to it.
It's confused. There are a lot of people who think he's gone, like actually gone.
Like in a bomb or
in one of the bombings or something like that. So
he's gone into the bunker.
Yeah. But then there have been some readers who thought that maybe he was injured, but like you said, in a bunker, but it might have gotten injured. And then other people like, no, this is complete propaganda. So I'm just wondering, like,
well, I'm a tabula rasa. I'm a clean slate. I know nothing, so I'm the perfect person.
And I've never read on it, so I'm just like, yeah. So that's why I wanted to do it, like, just to have a fresh read. Like, I have no preconceived feelings about this. I'm just literally going to see what the cards say. Like, is Bibi here on Earth? What's happened to Bibi? Like, where's Bibi?
Okay, that'd be fun.
And then you'll hear
I didn't realize this was a big deal.
Yeah, it's the internet buzz, and it might just be internet propaganda buzz, right? But I'm sure the cards will tell us if it is or if it isn't.
I've been distracted. I was finally able to nail Denise down to record on our psychos.
Oh yeah.
You know, our psychic and psycho thing. We've been doing Charlie Manson. And there's a lot to be said. So I've been really wrapped up in that. Okay, Bibi.
Oh, interesting. What? All right, I'm going to use my true crime deck to get some clarifiers here.
You have a true crime. Is that the oracles or is that a tarot deck?
Yeah, they're oracles.
I have that same deck, I think.
Yeah, the true crime oracle cards.
Like this?
Yeah, that's the ones.
Oh, maybe I'll do one too just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them.
Kind of felt like a true crime kind of thing, like where's Bibi? All right. All right, so I'm going to go. I think you might be able to fill in what I'm getting. I don't know if I have a complete answer, but I will say I do believe Bibi is still here on Earth.
I do get what to think,
But I do get a very crazy ending. So maybe he's not, like, it's very unsure, but my gut is saying maybe he's still here. But this is what I'm getting. It starts with the Wheel of Fortune. All right. There is some sort of destiny or karma here for him, is what I'm getting. Then I have fraud and the 8 of Pentacles. He was working on some sort of financial scheme, right? There's some sort of fraud here. There's work, there's money.
Ulterior motive, yeah.
There's ulterior motives. Then I get the Strength card and ego. I think that this is Bibi, like, no one can touch me. I can do anything. He's, whatever this plan was, it's like he was coming from some sort of strength. Now we know that the conflict in Iran and you have the United States and, is this part of a bigger fraud? Was there some sort of money scheme in all of this? Because we know that there's money under this. Was it that he's like, his ego is so big that nobody can touch me? We're going to get this done. And then it ends with the 9 of Swords. And I'm really struck by the bound hands. And of course, the 9 of Swords is not a positive card. It doesn't necessarily mean physical death, but it might be that he was captured or taken away in some way, or his hands were bound in something to do with this deal, or maybe he was injured, but there's some ending here. And who's involved? Accomplice, partner in crime, someone that he knew, someone who he partnered with in this scheme, in this situation, came for him and kind of tied his hands in some way. Now, The Nine of Swords doesn't feel good to me. Like, I feel like he's either, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was injured or he was, I don't know. Like, I actually don't get a really good feeling here, Helen, to be honest. But I'm going to say, because I don't read physical death, I'm not getting cards that specifically point to physical death for me. So I think that he's probably still here, but I do feel like he's in some sort of a compromised situation, like a not good situation here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's either injured or trapped.
Or trapped, especially with the hands tied, you know?
Well, let me show you. The Hanged Man and Inside.
Ooh.
What did I say? Bunker.
The bunker, yeah.
And then I get the Ace of Swords, which I feel like is a blow, you know? And then the Ten of Swords.
Ooh, you got 10 of Swords.
So
betrayed. There's an element of betrayal with the 10 of Swords.
And I almost think it not only reflects something physical, but it reflects a sense of, you know, I can't take much more. This is not going the way I expected to go, because the next card I got, because I did some qualifiers, was the Five of Wands. So this battle is not going the way he thought it was going to go. The Two of Wands, he had a plan and he had a hidden agenda, but it's not going the way he had hoped. And then I get the Devil and Justice.
Interesting.
I don't know how to interpret that. I don't have a strong, like, a lot of times I'll just go, oh, like Susie Wiles, immediately. No. Yeah. This is opaque, this situation, maybe because he's underground. I think he may have been hurt. And if he isn't physically hurt, it's like a deep disappointment, because if this whole scenario goes to you know what, he's going to jail.
Right. Justice. And that could be like that blow. Like, I feel like the blow, the ending, whatever he was planning is ended. Like, it's,
yeah.
And you got like the Ace of Swords, right? Reversed or whatever.
I got the Ace of Swords. I got the Hanged Man.
That's like a blow. It could be a blow to his plan, a blow to his ego, a blow to, you know, reality check. Yeah. And it could be a physical thing. I can't let go of there's someone he thought he was doing business with that was on his side that I think flipped the switch on him somehow. So I don't know.
I wonder who that is.
Gee, I don't know. Who could that be?
I don't know. Maybe somebody who calls him Uncle Bibi.
Maybe.
Right? I mean, that.
I know. Definitely. I thought of him.
He's like, you know, he slithers in and out and is virtually invisible, but he's up to no good constantly and making bank constantly with every situation. You know who we're talking about, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought about him immediately. And I was thinking, if money is the root of all of this conflict and such, you know, and Bibi thought he was telling us what to do and guiding the story. It seems like these cards are saying he was flipped somehow and he's no longer in control of the story, that he feels betrayed in some way.
Yeah, so there's a sense of disappointment and being stuck and things not going the way he wants and inevitably facing justice. And that's a real problem for him. I think, you know, what I forget, I can't speak for everybody, but what I often have to remind myself is we're not talking about people whose values are rooted in any sense of loyalty or humanity or empathy or anything like that. It's about profit, power, fame, control. And it doesn't matter how many bodies are littered under them. They don't care as long as they're up on top. That's really hard to fully digest when you're a normal person, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because we're dealing with psychopaths, sociopaths, all the paths.
One of my favorite words is idiopathic.
What's idiopathic?
Idiopathic, if I understand it correctly, is from medicine, and an idiopathic disorder is something where they just don't quite know what causes it. The origin, oh my God, I don't know. It's a fancy way of saying beats me.
I love that.
Yeah, I
That's
think
funny.
that's what it means. So, yeah, it's like the pathology is kind of an unknown. It's an idea that we don't know where it's from, you know?
That's
So
funny.
I love that. And I
Wow.
think of that when I think about these people. They're just, what are they?
Right. Empty, hollow people. The hollow men, that
Well,
poem.
allegedly, in my opinion, Stephen Miller is a golem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the ancient Jewish story of the golem, I think he's a golem.
Wow.
Picked up some dirt and molded it into a person, and it's just an empty shell made of dirt.
Yeah. And I believe it. I believe it. So we have like 4 minutes left. We need like a good closing question, Helen. What should we do? I know we've written down a few things, but I didn't know if you had an idea for a good closing question.
How's the summer going to be?
All right,
not weather, because I just can't even deal with environmental stuff right now. It stresses me out so bad. There's an inevitability, but just the country. How's it going to be this summer?
Okay.
Can
US. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm getting all the same cards. I'm going to use a different deck. I hate that. Oh, God. I'm sorry I asked.
Is it? It's going to be a shit show, isn't it, huh?
I think so.
I'm getting a different kind of answer, so maybe it balances your answer. I'm getting something that's more to the American psyche. I feel like this 250th 4th of July here is a big deal. All right, go ahead. I'm going to have you go first on this one.
Okay, I got the King of Coins. We all know who that is. I always get this for the, the felon in charge. I got the Sun reversed. We're going to be as far from anything enlightened as you can possibly imagine. Truth is a thing of the past, and it's kind of a darkness, over the summer. I got the 10 of Coins reversed. Ouch. I think that is talking about economics.
Yeah.
And then finally, and it's funny because when I asked the question and I said I didn't want to talk about weather, one thing popped into my head, and here we have it. I got the Ace of Wands. I thought to myself, boy, I hope I don't get a lot of wands because of fire. Fire. Yeah. This is going to be metaphorically and literally the summer of fire.
Yeah, it's so funny. And this is just on another note. I think I might have been on a members only live stream, and I'm sorry out there if you remember this reading and I was somewhere else, but I had done a reading for someone who was going to go to Canada, and she was on the western end of Canada. And, is there going to be any problems this summer, me crossing the border? And she was going to go to Canada. I think she was going to leave maybe around June-ish, but she wasn't going to return to around September-ish. And in June, it was like no problem crossing the border. What I got coming back around the end of August, September, early September period was so many fire cards. And I said, I don't think that this has to do with politics crossing the border. I think you are legit going to have to reroute yourself because of potential fires up there. And that was in the Western Canada area.
They have a lot of forests.
Yeah. And I was like, I think this is legit, like literal, not like a figurative.
Right. Well, wands are fire. When you get a card, where is that card again? God. When you get a card where the thought of fire and wands came to you before you dealt the cards, and then the card you get looks like that.
Like that? I know.
I think, okay, I could take a hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting kind of like a different kind of read, as opposed you just okay, economy, this, that. I'm getting more of a psyche, where
how the people are going to feel.
Feeling. Yeah, that's the feeling. And it starts with the Lover's card. Mm-hmm. So, and the dancing shoes, which is interesting. And honestly, I'm feeling this is more the people, that they want people to come together. They want to celebrate again. They want to feel joy again. Like I get this sense, but I'm actually feeling, I just got this vision of Congress also coming together, but for the wrong reasons. Instead of, you know, how the Democrats, Republicans, I almost felt like there were going to be some compromises this summer that will feel like betrayals. And I feel like that's kind of what's underneath this, where people are like, why can't we just come together for like a common purpose? I'm getting that there's going to be a lot of people hit in the streets. This can be my protest card when it's upright, the 5 of Wands.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see probably more people this summer hit in the streets than you've ever seen. And that's not necessarily a positive card. Leap, people are going to take a leap of faith. They're going to start taking risks. So I feel like in these protests, that's to me a hint that people who've never protested before are going to do it.
Doing it.
They're going to say, like, I have to take the risk because I have no choice. There's going to be people feeling like I have no choice. So that makes me feel like I'm at fight or flight, right? So there are going to be people who, whether, like, if we go with your cards, feeling an economic squeeze, I have no job, I have no this, I have no health care, I have nothing to lose. I have to go on the streets, you know, like that kind of thing.
And it's existential given the environment.
That's right. And then I have the 3 of Wands reversed. That is my ulterior motive card. But it's also what I took this here is going within. Like I felt like if you took the whole like summer, it's a time where Americans, they don't care about what's happening out there overseas and the wars and all. They were like, I need to focus on our own people. We need to go within. We need to worry about what's happening in the here and now. And they're going to look for opportunities and possibilities. So people are just not going to give a hoot unless there are missiles coming at them. They're not going to give a hoot it's like, what's happening here in my neighborhood? I need to eat kind of thing. It's funny. It ends with that 7 of Pentacles, the farmer card, you know, reaping what you sow. We're going to reap what we sow.
Oh,
that's
great.
That's what's coming to mind. We're reaping. But with the people, it's interesting. I actually think there is going to be something going on here with farming, like legit farming, whether that's food shortages or people trying to grow their own food, store their own food. There's something on the table here that's related to farming and eating. Like, how are we going to get food on the table? So there's that. But I'm also hearing we'll reap what we sow, like in the conclusion. And then the river. So you got the fire, I got the water. But I think,
I was going to say water,
Yeah, but I actually think with this, the river is more like just going with the flow, or we're going to reap what we sow. We can't stop it anymore, right? We can't stop it. We have to flow with the river. Like we're past the point of no return. It's as if people are going to surrender at this point. Like whatever will be, will be. It's like a reckoning this summer. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
That 3 of Wands reversed. The word that popped into my head when I saw it was isolationism.
Let's go within. That's what I was feeling.
Yeah. Do you remember the bicentennial?
I do. I was 10 and it was a big deal in my family, a very big deal.
I'm not surprised. And it was a beautiful thing to see. I mean, I remember the bicentennial, all the beautiful ships in the harbor. And
to see the tall ships.
You saw them? Oh,
at Newport, Rhode Island. We went there. I remember waking up at 5 a.m. so we could drive an hour away so we could see the tall ships. And we got to do the whole thing.
There was such a sense of celebration. And, you know, no country is perfect, and there's plenty wrong with ours, with our foundation, with our history, and with the actual application of how we, you know, run the country on a person-to-person basis. Having said all that, there's a lot to be proud of too. Mm-hmm. And I am very sad. I'm very sad about this particular anniversary that's coming up this summer, because it's not going to be what it should be. I think they're going to have cage match fighting on the White House lawn. I mean, for God's sake,
What I remember about the bicentennial, just through a child's point of view, was the history. Everything was a history lesson.
Yeah.
We went into the Freedom Trail. We went to see the tall ships. I just remember I'll have to show the photo. Maybe I'll show the photo when I edit this in. There's a picture of me with my siblings, and my mother made like a little cake for 4th of July. And it was like a big deal. Like, 4th of July was like a huge deal. The bicentennial, we had a parade in our town, where all the Minutemen kind of bands and stuff, they came from all over because it's a big deal. And it was a huge parade just because I live in New England. So this is like the birthplace, right? So it's like all the things were happening. And it just made you feel proud for your roots and your heritage, the good parts. Like you said, back then, I wasn't so much on my radar, all the bad things that the United States have done. But it was like celebrating, like you said, the good things that we've done.
Well, and there's always plenty to regret and plenty to be ashamed of and plenty to wish that we could change. But once in a while, we need to be able to cling to the positive things. I can't believe that I just said that.
Eeyore said that.
I'm sorry, shocking. But it's true. I mean, the democracy that this country has is a rare, rare thing, and it's a delicate thing. And I don't think people fully appreciate that, and it's... Right. Do you remember the coins, the bicentennial coins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember those. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah, the 200th. And I always remember, maybe this was like a weird kind of prophecy, is because my mother would say, well, I don't know if you'll be alive for the 300th, but you'll definitely be alive for 250, because we're projecting out, how many years. And I remember trying to calculate my age. I'd be like, all right, I'll be 60, because when you're 10, that seems like you'll be like the oldest of old women, right? And here I am. And I would never have in a million years. Even my mother, as she told us all that we would be looking at this. We wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible.
Funny you would say that about being 60, because when I was 6, I can remember thinking, I am never going to live long enough to be 18. Oh my God. I remember that so clearly. I think that might have been a past life thing.
Wow.
I was really convinced. 18, I'll never see 18. And I remember when I turned 18 going,
I got over it.
Who knows what that weird karmic situation was? I don't know. Yeah, let's just hope that there'll be more celebration than conflict this summer.
I feel like I've already decided. I don't know about how celebrating I will be, but I've kind of felt like my heart wouldn't be in it. But I am going to do a lot of reflection on that day.
Yeah. Well, I don't do crowds or.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid all of that for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Because of where we are.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah, but I am going to we'll probably have a nice little barbecue and just have a nice, I'm planning a nice reflective day where I can just reflect on the meaning of that and where we are. And I don't know where we'll be on that day. I don't know what will have happened leading up to that day completely. Like we do readings on it, but we're never going to know for sure until it happens. So we'll see.
Well, there's some things, I know this sounds like a huge cop-out, but I think this is true. This comes to me all the time. We're not supposed to know everything.
That's right.
Nobody knows everything. Even Nostradamus was wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we see things in the cards, but we interpret it wrong because our pea brains can't comprehend the stuff that could have happened. I think that happened.
Speak for yourself. Mine's the size of a garbanzo.
So there you go. But you know what I mean? Like we found that out in the COVID documentary. When people tried to predict it. Some people got things, but when they tried to interpret that,
they didn't know what it was.
What that was.
Yeah, but they knew it was something coming. Which that reminds me, because you're not going to toot your own horn. Everybody needs to watch Awakened. It's really good. It's very good, and it's the promise of more to come. And I think it's really interesting because this is an historical document. I think it's a record. For a subset of of our culture, for our society, how people reacted. These are important things to record.
Yeah, and especially the next 2 episodes, I think, are more along those lines. Next week's episode, next Sunday, will be lockdown. So it's our reactions to the lockdown situation. And then the next week after that will be the virus, in which we examine our experiences with that virus. Then after that, we look more into the spiritual aspect of it. But yes, it is sort of a historical document.
I think
really.
so. And
Yeah.
and to end on a psychic note, this is really funny. I just need to share this is how my little psychic thing works. It's pretty funny. So last night I've been intending to watch a movie and I haven't gotten around to it. I wanted to watch it because I read the book and I loved the book. And so they were charging for the movie and I just refused. I'm already paying too much for these streaming services. I am patient. I will wait. So finally, yesterday I stumbled on it for free and I went, oh, okay, so I'm going to watch it, right? So I watched the movie and maybe not as good as the book, but as standalone as a movie, it was good. And I was really taken with the main character as a young woman. And yesterday she won the Academy Award for it.
So wait, what's the movie? What's the book?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just don't, Hamnet.
Oh.
And the young woman who won is from Ireland.
Oh.
And when I didn't see her speech, but I read about it this morning in the Irish Times because I read the Irish paper. She made her speech when she was accepting the award. And at the end of it, she said, Gramayagat, which is Irish, and it means thank you in Irish. But I think she said with another word, 1,000 thank yous. And I'd have to practice to get the cadence right because it's such a hard language. But yeah, isn't that cool?
Wow, that's so cool.
I'm taking credit.
And tomorrow's St. Patty's Day.
Wow.
So, hey, up here, we still getting the corned beef and cabbage on, and we still going to wear
That's a Jewish dish. That's not an Irish dish. And cabbage, yes, but corned beef, no. And St. Patrick came to Ireland to impose patriarchy and destroy the goddess religion. Let's just get this into perspective,
That's right. That's right. But up here, it's all about drinking beer and eating
you guys.
cabbage.
I don't know. You're Bostonians.
It's the Bostonian thing.
I went to a St. Patrick's Day parade in Dublin. No, Galway. In Galway. We didn't plan it. We just went, oh my God, today's St. Patrick's Day. So we went to the parade and it was all bands from Boston and New York City.
It cracks me up.
The fire department band, the police band, the guys in kilts. I was like,
that's it.
Well,
it's always a pleasure having you. This was good. Like I got some really we had some really interesting questions, like things that I didn't realize. So,
well, it's a pleasure to be had. Thank you very much for having me. And so
everyone, don't forget, go down to Helen's channel, subscribe, like, check out her new videos. It's always a pleasure reading.
Yeah,
always a pleasure reading for everybody out there.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.